Second fight on our main card, UFC 248, coming at you live this Saturday from Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena. Matt, I'm really looking forward to this fight, and this actually coincides with my lock of the week, so let's get into the 2 minutes. We have Neil Magny make his return to the cage, taking on the Leech, Jingliang. Listen, the Chinese national has been lighting the world on fire. 3-fight win streak over Daichi Abe. Then after that, a great finish win, and then another finish win. This guy's looked insane in his last 3 outings. The David Zavada fight with the body punch, and then the fight after that against one of Matt's favorite fighters, Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Matt, he's taken on Neil Magny, and this is one of the longer fighters at 170 pounds, and it's kind of a shame that we haven't seen him all that regularly. He's a guy that holds wins over Kelvin Gastelum and the former UFC welterweight champ, Johnny Hendricks, but it seems to be when he faces that upper echelon of talent, he loses, and he's really faced adversity in a lot of his fights, which is kind of a shame to see in a matchup with a guy like Li Jingliang, who can certainly put the pressure on you. In terms of the odds, Matt, Jingliang a minus 175 favorite. Neil Magny coming in the return of the Mac at plus 145. In terms of over on Tapology, out of 501 votes, 71% going with the Leech, 76% actually being bold and predicting a knockout. How do you see this one here?
So it's a weird fight because, both guys are so inconsistent, and every now and then there's a fighter who I can't get that one fight of them out of my head. And for Li Jingliang, it's the Jake Matthews fight. And Jake Matthews is a good fighter. He's not near the echelon of what Li Jingliang should be, though. And Jake Matthews beat the brakes off him. He dropped him 2 or 3 times. That everyone's going to remember the eye gouge that Li Jingliang had on Jake Matthews when he was in that guillotine. Like, he doesn't always show his best, but when he does, he's an absolute monster. Like, he's got big power. He's a stiff striker. This is my problem with Li Jingliang. He's stiff as all get out. Like, when he doesn't... like. Okay, here's a good example. When you see Anderson Silva move, you're like, oh, that's a world-class athlete. Like, he just moves in a way that, like, I couldn't do that. Li Jingliang, I probably move better than him. Like, he looks like he's built out of a kitchen table. Just due to the fact he's very stiff, he doesn't have all this flexibility, but he's insanely effective with what he does, and his strengths really play into Neil Magny's weakness. You say Neil Magny's one of the longer guys of this division. We could say that if he used his length. He's very much the Stefan Struve of the welterweight division. Every now and then, he will get on a roll where he'll pump that jab out of breath. I'm just so fired up. He'll pump the jab. He'll actually do really well, but he won't continue that throughout 15 minutes. You'll see like 5 really good Neil Magny minutes, and then it'll kind of taper off. And for a guy who's known for his cardio, last point, for guys known for his cardio with Neil Magny, it's not like this fight's really going to help him with that, because he's going to be on the back foot for a lot of it, because Li Jingliang is such a pressure guy, and I don't think Neil Magny has enough power to be able to put Jingliang down to stop that oncoming pressure.
Go ahead and hate on Matt in the comments.
That's fine.
Typically when Matt says stuff...
He moves like he doesn't move... all that well.
Yeah, normally when Matt talks about like Beauty and the Beast and the objects coming alive, things don't go all that well. So he's built like a kitchen table. Matt can move better than him. I've seen Matt's dance moves. They're second to none. However, I think Jingliang probably moves a little bit better than him. Another point, Li Jingliang, the last time we saw him in the cage, was actually the day I get married. Kind of neat there. He was able to absolutely starch Zaleski dos Santos, who was a minus 270 favorite in that fight, and he put it on him. Now, let's talk about Neil Magny. In terms of the fights that he's had in the past, it's so hard to really gauge him because, again, he has wins over Hendricks and Gastelum. Yeah, that one was a split. But he has losses to some of the better guys in the division. And let's take another one of his wins, Hector Lombard. Go back and watch that fight. Now, you could say, Craig, it was 2016, and yes, you have to take it with a grain of salt, but Hector Lombard absolutely put it on him in the first round. And if you can pour on the pressure if you're Li Jingliang, and you can actually threaten some submissions here, and you can actually use your grappling as an advantage, whereas Hector Lombard was power, hell, brimstone, fury, whatever you want to say. He poured it on for the first 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden... he's done. And that was kind of his run in the UFC. Not in Bellator, but in the UFC. But in this fight, it's just so tough because Neil Magny, he's an elevation guy. He trains at elevation in Colorado. He's a former guy in U.S. Special Forces. But in terms of his fighting career, it is that pinnacle of just inconsistency. So it's really tough to try and predict this fight. I actually like where the line is at with Jingliang as a minus 175, but as a lock, that's who I'm going with here.
See, I can see a world where Neil Magny he's able to kind of shut down sort of the wild game of Jingliang, not make it a brawl, be very technical, but I just don't think he can keep that up for all 15 minutes, and every single second you're in the cage with Li Jingliang, you're in danger of getting knocked out, and if Li Jingliang can knock out Zaleski dos Santos, who I think we can all agree is quite a bit better of a pure striker than Neil Magny, he should be able to get the jump on Neil Magny. Magny as well. But this should be a phenomenal fight. This is another one that could be fight of the night.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. And Matt, you're not going to want to miss the rest of our predictions for the main card and the prelims. 2 minutes, 5 minutes for the co-main and the main event for UFC 248 and Fight Night Picks, Matt. As we always say, let's get into it.